Hello YouTube, I'm the rock kid from school, and today I'm going to review the KWC Smith & Wesson M&P 40F. That's the gun right here. But if we start with the box, get a pretty standard box. It says Sigma 40F. Who cares? Anyway, in the box you get a small pack of BBs, the gun, a magazine, and you get some tools. This tool right here is for one of the CO2 keys. In the magazine you get two plugs right here that you can use to put the CO2 in the magazine. The one I have in right now is the one you can tighten by hand. That one right there. And you also get one that fits this tool right here, so that you can use the tool to put the CO2 in. And if you hadn't figured it out right so far, the CO2 is in the magazine. The magazine also holds 24 rounds, so it's pretty good. You also get a hop-up adjustment tool. And that's pretty much what's in the box. There's no manual or anything, it's just the box. And of course the gun itself. The gun itself, the frame is made of plastic. The slide, the inner and outer barrel are made from metal. So it's pretty sturdy. You'll see that there are some trademarks on the left side of the gun. There's also one right here on the frame, and the same one repeats on the other side. It's the Smith & Wesson logo. There's a jewel indicator right here. I took it off just because it fell off pretty easily, so I just took it off. Who cares? Well, anyway, with a 0.2 gram BB, this gun fires around 300 feet per second, so it's pretty standard, which is pretty alright. The box says it has a range of roughly 50 yards. Within the airsoft gun, I wouldn't put too much into the range calculation on the box. It's pretty much a condition of the weather, the temperature, the hop-up adjustment, and the BBs you use. So don't put too much in it. It fires pretty much as far as any other CO2 gun. It weighs roughly 2 pounds and is almost 20 centimeters long, which is roughly 8 inches, I think. Who cares? Yeah, if you want to take the slide off the gun, you'll need to cock it, and then just like a Glock, it has these two little levers on either side. Just push it down, push it forward like that. It takes a bit of force. And right here you have your recoil spring, and then you have your barrel assembly and your hop-up. Right in here is where you that hole right there is where you adjust the hop-up. This gun reminds me an awful lot of the Glock, but there's a whole other story around that. Look it up on the internet if you want to know. There was a lawsuit between Glock and the Smith & Wesson for this gun, because it operates a lot like a Glock. So yeah, the lubrication on this thing from stock is alright. There's not a lot of lube in here, but it works. So other than that, it functions pretty much like any other airsoft gun. And of course, to put the spring right in, you just line it up. There's a little notch on the spring right here, which just simply goes, well, you'll know it when you get it. It looks like that. if we take a look at the frame, the disconnector is right here. When you hold down the trigger after you fire around, this one gets engaged and it makes sure it won't go full auto. And if you pull the trigger, that's the hammer right there. Yeah. Well, there's not much to it. Slide feels pretty heavy. The frame not so much. It's made of plastic, so obviously it's not going to weigh that much. And to put it back together, you just line up the little things right here. And it's not that easy to put back together. Right there. Alright, let's see if it works now. Personally, I find the Glock to be easier to put back together, but well, since this is actually cheaper than the gas Glock I have, I'm not surprised, because this right here is actually quite a cheap gun. So anyway, as you can hear, the slide sounds pretty good. I actually like the sound it makes. So alright. Of course, it locks back after every empty magazine. And the slide release is right there. It's pretty big, and personally I find that pretty good. Well, pretty good. Very good actually, because it's very easy to get to. Sometimes with the Glocks, I don't have the longest fingers in the world, so sometimes I miss it. But this one is pretty easy to get. I found out sometimes when I fire the gun and I put in a loaded magazine and I push it hard, the slide goes forward and it actually locks in place, so you don't have to push the release every time, but you can if you don't slap it hard enough. But I found that as a pretty cool detail. See if I can do it here. Right there. Right there. Alright. So, and the trigger, it's pretty rough, but it's not too bad. I think you do need to get used to the trigger on this one, but when you get used to it, it's not that much of a problem. So, I think that's pretty much everything. Well, it says on the box that it does have a strong recoil, but I find that it's pretty much the same recoil as you would find in most other CO2 pistols. So anyway, let's go on to the shooting test. Alright, so you just saw the shooting test, and yeah, it shoots pretty okay, pretty consistent as most other CO2 guns does. So something I found kind of cool is that I was able to fire off 3 magazines before the CO2 cartridge was empty. It didn't lock back after the third magazine, but it's not really that much of a problem. I think it was kind of nice that I could fire off 3 times 24 rounds. That's 69 rounds roughly. Before well, it's before it went out. Obviously, it didn't run out of CO2, but that's kind of nice. I only put 23 in the magazine, but you can put roughly 24 in there, plus 1 in the chamber if you want to. So, that's kind of cool. Thanks for watching.